So it is the 8th of September, and today's the day I went for my follow-up pap smear, and I'm waiting for my results. At the end of June, beginning of July, I went for my routine pap smear, and it came back that I had abnormal cells around my cervix, which was coupled with some sort of virus. And the gynecologist was quite serious about having to go for an operation to remove those cells, or else it's at the stage just before cervical cancer. And so when I was sitting in the room, I was very aware of how much fear she was putting in me. And so I asked her how much time I have before it becomes cervical cancer. And she said, well, it's quite far along as it is, so we don't have time to play. And as she said that, I just remember thinking, this is just fear and I'm not going to listen. I'm going to be able to heal myself on my own. And so I asked if there's any alternatives, and she said, no, there's no alternatives. This is not something you should play with. And so she was pushing me to schedule my operation, and I said to her, I'll let her know. And again, reiterated, this is not something you should play with. And so I went home that day, and I actually felt very despondent, because I started to question, how did I get this? If I'm doing all the work, I've done all the work, how did this happen to me? That night I did some meditations, and it came up that I need to dig deeper into self-love. This is here for a reason. And so I kept thinking to myself, if this is here for a reason and it's here to show me something, then like Dr. Joe says, if I can heal that part of me and release that part of me and become the new Gina, then that illness would be existing in the old Gina. That whole weekend I meditated, and on the Sunday I had such a out-of-body experience. When I was 13 years old, my brother passed away in a tragic car accident, and we were on the road with him. And I was doing the limiting beliefs meditation, and I went all the way back to the scene, and I could see myself as that 13-year-old girl creating this belief that I should have gone and my brother Greg should have stayed. And so I felt this almost undeserving feeling of being alive and being here. And it was so overwhelming, like it brought me to tears, and it was just so apparent for me, because I've almost felt that feeling my whole life and never known where it came from. And I had this sense of guilt that I stayed and he left, because I looked around at my parents and my brother on the road while we were grieving. His body was there, and I was very much aware that they were grieving and I wanted to take their pain away. And so I felt bad that he had left and he had left and I had stayed. And so in this meditation, I felt this overwhelming sense of grief, of guilt, of undeserving of being here. And it really overcame me. And as I was in the meditation, I was just very aware because Dr. Joe talks about that there's no time other than right now, and we can go back into our past, but we're experiencing it right now. And so in that moment, I decided that I'm going to release that limiting belief of that experience and create a different belief for myself. And so I saw myself as the Gina now, going to that little Gina and saying to her, you don't have to create this belief, and we're going to release this belief that you've created, and we're going to bring in a new belief of you are worthy of being here, and there's a reason Greg left and you've stayed. And so if Greg's left and that was his path and you're still here, then you have your own path to live. And it was just such an overwhelming meditation, and I came out of the meditation literally on my knees, crying and feeling this overwhelming sense of release. As much as I've been doing Dr. Joe's work, I had one foot in and one foot out. One foot in my new self, one foot in my old self. And so this came to kind of go, this is enough. You need to go all in on who you are. I honestly, in that moment, knew that the abnormal cells were gone. I felt like this massive release, and I knew that the feelings of undeservedness and guilt and shame for being here were in the old Gina. And if I'm now going to step into this new Gina who is grateful and excited and worthy of being here, then it can't exist. Hi everyone, so it is now the 25th of September. I received my results for my pap smear 2 weeks ago, and I just haven't made the video because it just felt like it already was. And my results that I received on the 14th of September are atypical squamous cells of undetermined significance, and that is it. The rest is clear. When I got my results, I just cried and cried because I was so overwhelmed that, oh my word, I knew that it was going to happen, and just to have the confirmation that it happened was just surreal. It makes perfect sense because, as Dr. Joe says, when you become someone else, you literally, the disease, or in my case, it wasn't a disease, but those cells are present in the old personality. And I literally, in the last 3 months, so it's 23rd of June, I received my first results, July, August, September, the 14th of September. So less than 3 months, I have very much changed, and maybe not significantly from the outside for my friends and family, but on the inside, I fundamentally have changed, and I'm no longer that person who feels the guilt. It's just such a beautiful experience just to show the power that we have and how much I haven't believed in myself up until now, and actually now's a great time to believe in yourself. So I hope this serves as an inspiration for people on this journey. So thank you, Dr. Joe. I'm eternally grateful.